And I just got to make sure that we're live on YouTube. Let me just check my Facebook to make sure that it's actually public. It always does it private for some reason.
Okay.
So let me just fix that. That song really stuck in my head. Like I'm like,
My friend Mike called me. He was like, "Man, he just started singing." I was just like, he just played that song back to back, back to back, back to back.
Now Glorilla got the whole hood in a chokehold. Like,
oh, she got everybody on lock right now. Her time right now. It's her moment. So
I'm not mad at all.
Nah.
Right.
If anybody's gonna win, I want her to win.
All right, we're live on Facebook. All right, dope. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's been a minute since I've gone live. Wait, hold up. It says the live video has ended on Facebook. What's up with that? I don't like that. Hold on. I need to make sure it's good. Because Facebook is our main audience.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that. Facebook definitely.
StreamYard better not be playing with my emotions. Okay, there we go. It's saying it's live. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm sorry. You know how we have technical difficulties. All right. So, welcome back. It's been a minute since I've been live. I was down for the count. I'm still recovering. You know how it is when we're doing this fruit feasting and you go through waves of detox. That's life, right? Anyways, welcome. We got a pop up with Stephone Jeffery. This isn't a talk. We're not talking about anything in particular. We're just talking about everything. So much has transpired. Like in the past, just couple of months, there's just so much going on. Election. We just had an election. We have a new president coming up. We want to talk about all the things, health related, community related, music, whatever. So thank you for popping in. Hey, Stephone, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hi, how you doing today?
We good. We had a dope little background discussion.
Oh, yeah.
We went live, so we just gonna keep piggybacking off of that. We were just talking about Glorilla.
Oh yeah. Glow, that's my girl, right? Glow is amazing. Like her music is a little wild, but I like her. She's just honest. She's authentic.
I feel you. I can't get the what is it? Is 7? What time is it?
7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m.
I
ain't got no for real.
Yeah.
So
my I like that. Yeah, Glow. That's my record. Yeah, Glow.
no, like it is not even my like. I try so hard to stay away from like the secular music, just out of intention of being more in control of what I let myself listen to. But at the same time, when number one, you can't avoid the music; it's everywhere. Like you on TikTok, if you're around, you're hearing it bumping out of cars. If you're on social media, you're going to see it being used as skits, people doing their own thing with the music and all of that. But at the end of the day, like if the music knocks, I'm going to dance to it. It's going to be stuck in my head. You just got to surrender and you got to have fun.
Yeah, and I've always been the person that I've always liked the heartfelt songs. Like if I had a Tupac CD like Dear Mama and songs that had meaning, like I always like songs with meaning. So that's like why I love music for, because some people really have a lot of pain, a lot of happiness too. So I definitely enjoy all music, country, rap, rock, roll, whatever. If it feels good and touches my soul, I'm gonna listen to it. So
absolutely. And I like to dance. And you know what? We got to move our bodies. And whatever it is that's going to get you to move your joints, because we have to be flexible, we have to be pliable. Yeah. I'm like reading something right now, and he made a super good point in that book where he was talking about death is stiffness, and life is literally like hydration and pliability and bendability. Like a tree, like it's usually a branch that'll fall off will be like a dried up tree where it literally will not, like, it's dry, it cracks, it's dead. So we got to move.
Yeah, I'm in nature and I watch, and I've been watching like butterflies and like bees, and I watch how they don't stay still for too long. They'll hop to another place, unless it's time for them to get some rest. That's when they disappear. But it's like they stay movement. Like movement is like nature's thing. It's like everything has to stay moving.
Yeah, even like dogs and stuff. Like, you notice how like dogs and cats, like they'll randomly just start stretching out of nowhere. Like everything instinctively does that besides human beings. Yeah. You know, we want to be couch potatoes and sit down with the remote in our hand and food. And that's just how we want to do. We want to go to work. We're sitting down all day. We're driving everywhere. So it's like, unless we're being intentional about not living a sedentary lifestyle, I think most people's default is living a sedentary lifestyle.
And that's a real statement, because I actually had to get I bought a bedroom treadmill next to me, and just so I can get up, because I work from a desk. I'm in front of a desk all day, so I have to walk, or I have to get up and go walk outside. Like I have to make sure I'm intentional about moving my body, because it has to be like that.
Yeah, facts. Like, best thing I did was like get a gym membership and actually be consistent in the gym. I can feel the difference. I can feel the energy moving in my body. If there was like any kind of discomfort anywhere in any organ, wherever my organ is homed, if I felt like I was feeling a little bit of pain or inflammation somewhere, just be consistent 3-4 days at the gym. I realized that like a lot of that energy moved, like it shifted. Like we have to move. Yeah, everything, blood, you just gotta move.
It's a blood circulation. So let's ruffle some feathers real quick. Let's talk about this election. Let's
talk about it.
I know a lot of people were upset about who won. And I'm not going to say my affiliation if I voted who I voted for, but I mean, it doesn't matter to me, because the person's going to be like my mom said, we got to go to work tomorrow anyway. So if Kamala's in, if Trump's in, if the blue aliens in, we still got to get them to still live our life tomorrow. So, but yeah, it was crazy how many people were so upset and don't even understand the history of why. Like, because I think what happened was previously they saw what she did with under Joe. And everybody was like, well, if she did that, like, what's she gonna do for me? So everybody, so a lot of, especially they went toward Trump. They were like, we're gonna go to Trump. We're gonna see what he's gonna offer us, because it is what it is. Like during Trump time, everybody kind of ate a little bit better when he was in office. I did. I know I did. And it was what it was. And it was like,
I'm sorry, but a lot of these Black people are on TikTok. People are making videos. They are pressing play on their device and crying in front of it, screaming in front of it, talking about we're going. Actually had to be like in a field picking cotton and getting beat. Like, that's not happening in 2024. Okay, everybody has a cell phone. Like, can't nobody really harass you and chastise you like that. Like, we got phones. We even white people are gonna be outraged at overt racism. Like, this ain't that. Okay. In America is already, let's just keep it a buck. America's already a racist nation. Like, it's interwoven in the fabric of the American flag.
American is gangland. And that's when I tell people that is everything is always separated. So you have Democrats and Republicans, Bloods and Crips, red and blue. Everything is always separated in each category. And it's not like, I hate to say it, like United States of America is not united. They divide and conquer. That's how they keep everybody separated. And they keep sections. They be like, oh, you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. Like, don't get mad. That's the same thing a Crip and a Blood says. Or you a Crip, you from that side. You a Blood, you from that side. Or you a GD from that side. They're learning that from the top. Like from the top, from the beginning. Everything is fight, 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 and divide, 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 divide.
That's how they want us. They want us to be divided.
Yes,
They want white people to be divided with black people. They want black people to be divided with black people. They don't want, like we already know the institutional racism that's already been baked into policy, into the structures, the institutions. Like, we already, to a degree, like, have to have our guard up when it comes to that. So, like, we're well aware of that, and that's what made us so resilient. That's what made us stronger. That's what makes us who we are. And that's why, like, that makes us like we're like the richest so-called black nation, so to speak, in the world. Like, the United States has the richest group of black people than anywhere else in the world. And I believe it's because where we're living, for number one. But for number two, because of like what we have to face, like, it makes us stronger because we have to be stronger. We have to be better in order to succeed in this culture, so to speak. But I don't like the over dramatization of how we're going to go back to slavery and all of that because somebody became the president. That's not true. Yeah. And you was talking about backstage when we were talking about the policies that certain people that's going to be a part of the Trump administration. Like, I don't care about these politicians. I didn't pick a side. I didn't vote, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't vote. I chose not to because I don't want to choose the lesser of two evils. I don't. But if we have to deal with a politician, if we have to be under this presidency, we might as well see what the benefits of this presidency is going to be. And I do believe that what you brought up is a good point with, if this transpires under, is it Robert Kennedy Jr.?
Right. Yeah, he was saying that because Trump, because the Democratic Party did not want, they didn't want to accept Robert. So Trump was like, I'll take you in, and all, because Robert, what he wants to do is he wants to get rid of all the BS in the foods. Like, he wants to, like, I'm not saying it's going to be the best food, but I guarantee you can go get a burger in Dominican Republic or in Europe, and it's going to be 1,000 times healthier than it was made in America. And Robert, he said he wants to work on trying to get healthy stuff back in the school systems, feeding the right people, and get rid of all the BS ingredients that they're giving us. And as my cousin told me that yesterday, I was like, wow. I said that makes sense. So it's just like the lesser of the two evils. It's just like, it is what it is, but it's just like, and like I said, a lot of people, especially black people, they don't understand why they vote Democrat for. They don't realize that prior to civil rights movement, we were Republicans because black people had their own towns, their own hospitals, their own businesses, and they had these places where they controlled everything. And so the the Republican mindset helped. It was for that. And what happened was, when civil rights came to get the black vote, they said, hey, we will get you guys these laws and state it for, fair, equal rights if you guys vote for us. And that's when we switched over. And people don't even know that. They don't even know why they vote Democrat for. They don't understand that. And it's crazy. And it's like, and I understand it, but and you got to vote for the lesser of the party and vote for you vote for, but at least understand why. Be able to understand why you are voting for something, not just because they're blue. Be like, hey, like, I'm voting blue because these policies, these agree with me, not just because, oh, Republicans are racist. Like, what do you mean? Democrats are racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's everybody's racist. There's some libertarians that are racist. So it's not a thing where it's like,
exactly. I used to be a libertarian. Like, I used to be a registered libertarian, and they seemed all cool. This is because this was during the Ron Paul campaign, and I was actually pretty involved. Yeah, I used to be pretty involved with the Ron Paul campaign. Like, I started, I found a local place where there were a lot of people who were campaigning for Ron Paul. Like, I was really for the limited government message, and like, in auditing the Federal Reserve and getting rid of these major ABC organizations in the government that really doesn't serve us, like the DEA, the FBI, the CIA, these things that have historically actually worked against us, have been used and created to spy on Americans and to create all of these crimes all over the world. So for me, I like the idea of that because government is just too big. So I like the idea of decreasing the size of it. So I like heavily gravitated towards that ideology, and the people were good people for the most part. But as soon as I started talking about how us as melanated people in the United States are being treated by, just by the institutions, a lot of them, I started to see their discomfort. Like if you're about freedom for all, then why are you uncomfortable? Why do you feel a kind of way when I'm talking about, us being treated exactly like how you are, the same courtesy you're given by a police officer when you're getting pulled over? Why are you offended when I say our experience is different? So like, I don't think it matters what party you're a part of. I think that the Democratic Party is a racist party. I think the Republican Party, I think there's racist people in the Democratic Party. I think there's racist people in the Republican Party. I think there's racist people in the Libertarian Party. I think there's racist people in every damn party, because it's not the party that makes the racist, it's the people that is racist. And it's like, we have to start learning how to remove, how like with R. Kelly, just as an example, they say you got to remove the man from the artist because you love the music and you want to keep listening to the music, but he did really heinous things. So they want to separate the man from the music. So you have to learn how to separate the man from the party. And you have to know when that if a certain party, if their policies are off and they go against your moral values, why would you continue to vote for it just to vote for it? Because historically you've always voted for it. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And like you said, I have family members too that like, I'm voting blue, and they just voting blue just because that's what I'm like. Why? Like you just gonna go that way because that's what you've been taught. Like you've been taught your whole life that you just go blue, and it's like, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with either party you vote for, but at least understand why. Like I'm all about receipts and facts. Like if you can break down to me why you want, I have no problem. I don't care if you vote for, Bernie Sanders, or if you want to vote for Hillary Clinton. If you have a reason, that's fine. But just don't be like, I'm voting that way, or just because that person, she's black, I'm voting, or that person's black. Like, no, like understand why. Understand why you're doing what you. That's a lot. We grow up and we do a lot of things in life. We don't understand the why behind anything, and it's sad we don't question those things, and we don't like to explore those things.
Yeah, I don't like identity politics. I don't like what I didn't like about the Harris campaign is the fact that it was, and the Obama campaign. I don't like this, like, first black, first woman, first this, like, I don't like identity politics because now you're doing something based on emotions and not based on logic. Let's focus on policy, and this is a person who's been in government for a long time. So we actually have a policy history to review and go back on and see how they did in their job. Just like if you're applying for an apartment or something, the landlord's going to want you to fill out an application. They're going to run a screening report on you. They're going to call your previous landlords. They're going to see what kind of tenant you were. They're going to ask for your pay stubs to verify your income. They're going to ask for some references. They're going to get into your background to make sure that they can trust you with their investment. And that's the same amount of due diligence we have to do as voters into people that we're going to have running the country that we live in.
And then I got a note to say that. But now if people won't even do that for their health, they're not going to do that for no politics. Like people won't do the diligence on their own health. They'll give what's taken to them, eat what they think they're supposed to eat, but they won't research what they're putting in their body. It's like, it's a real thing. It's like you take a kid, you buy a kid you go to the store, you buy them some chocolate chip cookies, some Oreos, and some gummy bears. But the parents don't look on the back and say, "Oh man, this has this ingredient, this has this ingredient. Oh my gosh, like what am I feeding my child?" You know, so people don't even do the due diligence to take care of their own kids, and it's just sad. It's just like we lack that right now. It's just doing our due diligence in everything. Period.
I agree. Due diligence is important. But it's easier to be spoon-fed information. It's easier, just like with processed food. If we're going to talk about the food, it's easier to go down the aisle where all the packaged and prepared foods are and just grab what's packaged and what's prepared. You know, like, because it's easier. You don't have, instead of making your own pasta, why would I need to make my own pasta when I can go and get a box of dried pasta shells? It's already made for me. Why do I have to make my own bread when I can go down the bread aisle? But the price you pay for convenience is there's 40 ingredients in the bag of bread. Yeah. You know, and so that's what, and when it comes to politics, and when it comes to the government that's going to be creating policy that's going to affect our lives, we would rather go and sit in front of a TV and have these mainstream media pundits, because I can't even call them journalists. They're not investigative journalists. They read off the same script that most media pundits are reading off of, and they're all propaganda-based talking points, you know, and a lot of people are being emotionally charged up by someone who's supposed to be a journalist, who shouldn't even be giving you their opinion. It's only their job to just give you the information, the objective facts of whatever. But you have these personalities that will just straight up tell you how to think about this. And then now you're getting all emotionally involved in it and just blindly believing everything that they're saying without checking anything that they're saying. You know, news is actually categorized as entertainment. They don't have to tell us the truth.
Yeah, it's been propaganda from the early 30s, 40s. That's been newspapers and all that's been propaganda, has been like the biggest thing, and it's not the truth. It's only half of it or a little bit of it, and they spin it to sell a story. And they want to get you trapped in, they want to get you emotionally involved, and then you'll believe anything. And it's like this. I know it's a little aside. So you take, Diddy, when people were talking about Diddy years ago, nobody believed it until the news promoted it. He got in the media, and then now, that's messed up. But there's people, you can go back and see interviews of people were talking about, like, no, he's wild, he's not right. And it's like that's how the news portrays. They really run the image of what people think. Like, it could be right or wrong, but they just run that image, and people they bite it, they eat it. They're like, oh, all right, cool. And that's just the sad part. Nobody wants to do their own investigation. Nobody wants to look. Nobody wants to critically think. Like, I don't think critically thinking even exists anymore. And I remember, like, that was like a thing where it was like, hey, all right. I remember in English class, they were like, you got to learn how to think about the story, break it down. And it's like, nobody wants to break anything down. They just want to just spoon fed. And it's like, even with this health thing, you see people, there's certain people, like certain, people, they're this side, they teach you stuff, but doesn't mean everybody's right. Doesn't mean everybody's going to change. Doesn't mean it's going to work for your body. Go research it. Go look. Go try it out. Go see, hey, like, all right, maybe that doesn't work for me, but this works for me. So this works for me, and I'm good with that. But like, people don't like to go try stuff. They just want, like you said, they want that popcorn like ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just, there's a lot of intellectual masturbation. We have like a culture of intellectual masturbation, as in, like, we like to just talk about everything we know. We just love talking about all the knowledge we have. But very rarely is all the knowledge that people know has ever really been applied. So, like, all this stuff, but how has it impacted your life personally? Like, what have you actually implemented that you can tell me you don't know this because you learned about it, you were taught, you read something, but because you applied it to your life? Yeah. a lot of us, we will know what's bad with us. Like, so, okay, you'll have the same people who agree that food is being poisoned. Like, people always talk about they're poisoning our food. This is why everybody's sick. This is why everybody's overweight, and this and that and this and that. Then emotionally get wrapped up into a political candidate because they just blindly believe every negative thing that they hear on the news. But then the person that they didn't want in office takes office, but has someone as their secretary of health who's getting ready to take all the poison out the food. But you would rather have voted for the person who would have kept the poison in the food. Look, it's just not logical to
like nobody knows that. See, that's what I'm saying. So they never promoted Robert. Like, my cousin had told me this, because she's into this, like she's really into politics. She had said, yeah, and I looked it up, and I was like, she's right. And they're never going to promote somebody doing that type of justice.
But now that we know, people still ain't folding.
Oh, yeah, no, they're still like, nah, I'm still not going. But it's like, and in the days, like, and people are so emotional. You have to realize once it's done, it's done. Like, Trump's going to be in office. It is what it is. Like, if you like it, if you don't like it, it's like if Kamala was going to be in office, she was going to be in office. I don't. It's like my life is still going to go on. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. I'm still going to promote myself. I'm still going to live this life. So it doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian in office. I'm still going to move forward. Like, you still got to move forward. Like, you can't be you wrapping your boats and you crying and nothing's going to happen. You're not going to change anything. You're not going to do anything. So it's like, and like I said, I agree with you. Like, we have so much knowledge. And then sometimes we're overstimulated. Like, we just know too much, where it's like, I'm like the person, I like facts and receipts. Like, that's me. I like, if I do something, I'm saying here, like I said, my blood pressure has shot up because I was eating cooked foods, and I realized my body's like, I'm like 80% healed. I'm not fully healed yet. So I was like, I can't eat cooked foods. I'm putting salt in there and stuff like that. So I was like, I had to go on a raw diet. And then I got on some herbs from a guy named Raw Marby. And now my blood pressure is down, but I had to figure that out for myself. And do that. And I was like, but I the proof was in my pudding. I got numbers. I tested myself. I got my blood pressure things. And it's like, I like facts. Like, I'm a factual person. Like, if you have honest facts, like, that just makes things just a lot easier, because it's not hard. Like, life is simple. Like, we try to overcomplicate everything. And it's just like, I'm like, why do we have to overcomplicate? Like, it's not 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah. It's like, we only overcomplicate it because the institutions that have appointed themselves as the authority figure of whatever whatever it represents as far as an institution goes. So, like, if it's a Department of Health, the federal government has a Department of Health who create the guidelines and the regulations for how health is administered and how it's viewed and how it's perceived and how it's experienced. So we make it hard because they've made it hard. They've already planted seeds of disinformation that now we've kind of been conditioned to live by. So now you have the true form of health, which is natural health. They're calling it an alternative. So now everything is just twisted upside down, and what's good, what's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right. And it's just nothing but like this confusion. Everybody's in a confused state because no one is applying knowledge to themselves to see if it's true or not, because they would much rather go and read a peer-reviewed study that's paid for by some corporation, the same corporation that's going to benefit from said study, because there is some product on the back end of that study that is going to be put out into the market. And so everything, we're just confused, which is why everything seems so hard. We make things difficult because they've created a system that has overcomplicated something that's actually quite simple. So like, I'm not mad at nobody, because it's not really our fault. But once we do know better and when we learn better, then that burden is on you. Like, the responsibility is on you to change once you get some new information.
Yeah, and the truth, because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. It's like a thing. So like I said, you have to do better after that. It's like, I know Like, I know I can't eat that now because I know what it's going to do to me. Like, I know how this going to violate me. I know this going to mess me up. So you're right. Once you know better, you have to do better. And I mean, like, I don't think people want to do better sometimes. I think people just like to be in the blind. Like, I don't want to know that. Like, you know, I don't want to know the truth. I just want to live my life and just continue. How it's going to go, it's going to go. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying some people. Some people want to live like that. And it's just it's just one of those things that's just kind of like a sad thing where it's like I blame it is how America has built us like that. They want us to believe everything. They don't want us to be healthy. They don't want us to live off the land. Like, there is no reason why everybody in America cannot have an acre of land and grow their own food on there. Like, there's no reason like that. That is uncalled for. Even if you share, even get half an acre to every person in America and be like, hey, you grow your food here. And I walk around mom's neighborhood every morning. I walk around the neighborhood and I'm like, how come this house doesn't have an apple tree? This house doesn't have a pear tree. She doesn't grow veggies over there. And we can just walk to each other's house. Go, hey, can I get some apples over there? Oh, you got oranges? I get some oranges off your orange tree. Like, that's how life should be. Like, it's simple. Like, but they just overcomplicated with nonsense.
You're right. There really is no reason why. And even if everybody didn't personally own the land, there's no reason why federal funds aren't being used more responsibly. Like, you will have all these national parks and all of that. Why aren't you just using them as large community gardens for every community? Like, seeds don't cost that much.
No, they don't.
You know? Like, y'all got park rangers, y'all putting all this money to preserve grass basically all around the country. But why can't you plant fruit trees in gardens? Like, we could literally just have like massive food gardens in every big city in the country, in every town. Like, there's no excuse for it to not be that. But they would much rather, instead of money for seeds and money for cultivation of the land to really take care of food insecurity, they want to use that same money to go and pay for war and destruction in Ukraine. And they want to give money and finance every side of a war. And that's what they would much rather do, because they want, and this is my qualm with the liberal or the Democratic government. They are virtue signalers. And I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the representatives, the politicians of the Democratic Party. A lot of them are virtue signalers, because they act like they care about getting rid of poverty and they act like they're for the people, but all they want to do is give out government programs to people and turn people into dependents, versus making people, like, really giving them a stepping stone to become more than just a recipient of something, of where they have to keep going back to the government to feed themselves. So my thing is y'all, because if you're in office and you are in charge of the government for 4 years or 8 years or whatever, I put this on the Republicans too. Why can't you take government money, and instead of financing wars and giving it away to all these different nations or whatever, why can't we take care, like, really tackle poverty and food insecurity just by creating renewable, energy, food that goes into the ground, and you have trees that will constantly reproduce indefinitely. You can hire people to make sure that those lands are well maintained and that it doesn't go bad or rot or any, like, it's because they want people to be dependents, because they need you to be a dependent, because that's how they get put back into office. So they want people to continue to vote for them. So it's because, like, this is what I'm going to do for you every year. So they continue to get voted back in because they've turned a whole population of people into dependents that need them, and then they use like Medicaid and all of this stuff politically, which is why they want poison to stay in the food. That's why they didn't accept RFK, because they know that poison being in the food feeds Medicaid, feeds Medicare.
That medical demon is no joke, man. And I went to get my MRI, and I'm walking through because it's at Duke. It's at Duke Hospital. I'll go there, and I'm just like looking. I'm like, man, I could really help a lot of people in here. Like, and I could just help improve their lifestyle. If I'd be like, hey, just try this fruit fast. take these herbs right quick. And it's just sad because it's like I drove 45 minutes for a 7-minute consultation to say that everything's okay. Like, and we have the app on the phone too. So the doctor replied back, say, hey, everything was good. Still had to go 45 minutes for 7-minute consultation, drive 45 minutes back, and had to pay $50 for a copay. I'm like, it's like y'all are just greedy. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and that was for a copay, so they got paid even more than that.
Paid more on the back end. Yeah, they got paid. That was on the front end. They got paid more on the back end.
And for them to just look at you and stare at a chart, shrug their shoulders, little to no effort, like, and they get paid big money, and then they get kickbacks and stuff for pushing pharmaceuticals, and they're like, that system is a for-profit system. It has nothing to do about healing people. They're always talking about how we have a healthcare crisis. We don't have a healthcare crisis because people aren't going into hospitals healthy. We have a sick care crisis. Yep. So they need us to continue to be poisoned because they're bread and butter. Doctors don't have a job.
They go hand in hand, like hand in hand. Doctors and these restaurants and these food, they're all hand in hand. They all coincide with each other. They understand, oh, you're going to put that in your food? All right, cool. You're going to send them over here when they get sick. Oh, when that person gets high blood pressure, yeah, bring them on over here. And then the doctors, they don't want to get you off medication. Like, that's not their plan at all. Like, they never say, hey, we're trying to get you off. They'll say, I remember I told, and I thought she was a real one, but I was like, hey, I'm about to be off my blood pressure medication. And she just said, oh, well, if you ever need some more, let me know. I'll up your dose for you. I'm like, I told you I'm getting off. And like, it's like she's still thinking like, I don't want to be on this stuff. I don't want to be on crack. You know, it's like, I'm not a crackhead. I'm not a druggie. I don't like heroin. I don't like drugs. So it's like, I don't want this stuff in my system. And it's like, it's just sad because she was just like trying to bait me back into using a product that could feed her.
A healthy America would literally collapse so many industries in this country. It would collapse the healthcare industry. It would collapse the pharmaceutical industry. It would collapse a lot of these restaurants because healthy people are not going to go and patronize these barbecue places and, you know, all these big back shops that we got out here. Like, we're not going to be giving money to industries because we're going to be empowered with information that tells us that consuming dead food is detrimental to our biofield. Mm-hmm. You know, like once we start changing how we perceive human health and how our bodies actually operate. I was reading something today and they were talking about like biophotons. Because John Rose talks a lot about biophotons and how in our bodies, our cells are basically like little organic batteries, and you need to eat the fruit because the fruit has the highest amount of biophotons, and you can measure this through angstroms, and you can measure it through Kirlian technology. You can actually see the aura of an item, no matter what it is, you can see how much light is in its biofield or whatever. So the biophotons, he says that on an individual level and on a collective level, most people's disease, it's like helio something, is a lack of biophoton energy in the human vessel. So he was talking about how in the blood, like the blood cell, he said what stores most of the biophoton is like in the mitochondrial cell, and it's 80% of that in that space that isn't involved with like the DNA information. That's what conventional medicine calls junk DNA. But that's where all the biophotons are being housed in the cellular body. So once we start learning about how we're really these electromagnetic beings and that we really need electric food to charge us up versus all this dead food, all of this acidic food, all these things that's killing us and bringing down our biofield and just like dulling down our life. Like once we start realizing that we're actually like machines, like human machines versus like these like this bag of flesh that, you know, we just, everything we've been taught about our bodies, like we're these infallible human beings and we're just meant to live to break down with age and all of that, because that's disempowering. But once we become empowered with who we really are instead of who they taught us that we are, it's going to collapse industries, you know, because we're not going to be eating acidic food anymore. We're not going to be eating animals anymore. We're not going to be consuming dairy anymore. We're just not. We're going to be gravitating back towards eating as close to the Earth's electromagnetic field as possible, because that's what we're consumed to eat. Like every species has a species specific diet, and they all eat raw, organic, whole foods except for human beings. So, yeah. What do you do when, if people learn how to start healing themselves through nature and it's free, it's going to collapse, you know, and then people are going to be complaining, oh, our jobs. But if your job is attached to keeping humanity dulled down, dead, numb, just unaware, then it's time to start being more innovative with how we use our time. Like we eat too goddamn much.
Oh yeah, it's a snacking thing. It's a crazy thing, and I think our ideology of what we really need is like, I know what we want, but the only thing we really need is some land, grow our own food, have a little water. Like we can dig a well, have some water come through there, and that's it. Like that's all. It's not hard. It's not simple. You don't need a big mansion. You don't need a Rolls Royce. Like if you have a nice life size house and you grow your food on your land, and you can eat, if you can eat off the land and grow your own food and grow your own herbs, I think you are super rich.
Absolutely. Getting back to the basics.
Yeah, going back to nature. That's one thing. I was taking a walk and I was hear the trees talking. It was just like, you got to come back to me. They were just like, heard the wind whispering, like, you got to get back here. Like that's where we need you back. And it's a real thing. It's just like getting back to Mother Nature and that life, because it does. You do feel good. Like people like when the sun is out, people do what? They go out. Right? The streets are filled when the sun is out. When it's raining, you might have a little bit, but people, why? Because the sun is magnetic. People like the sun. They like the energy that it gives. And it's like, it's a nice day today. It's a beautiful, I want to be outside today. And it's just like, they don't realize how attracted they are just to raw nature. They don't realize why they want to be outside. And even with the community, like I thought about this one time. People, they have a thing like we outside, or like, especially like in certain neighborhoods and certain areas, like a lot of people outside on the block all day, like all day. But they might not be doing the right thing, but they are getting their sun. They don't realize why they're attracted to that. You know what I'm saying? Because in the cold, but when the sun is out, they like being outside.
Hue, what does hue mean? Hue is light.
Yeah.
We are human. We are light beings, like that's just who we are. So yeah, when that sun comes out, we naturally need to go out and get that charge. It actually activates hormones in our body. Like vitamin D is a hormone. Yeah. Hormones are directly impact our mood. It keeps us in homeostasis, like it keeps our nervous system regulated. So we need to be outside. We need to be attached. And it's like the society that we've created, albeit very creative, very comforting. It's like we've created these cells in a sense, like these little private cells that we like to stay inside of, but we're blocking ourselves from the sun. We're keeping ourselves from outside breathing fresh air. And nature has never changed. It's always stayed the same. Like nature, like you said, when you was outside, the trees are communicating with each other. The wind, it's all just communicating with each other. It's like this network, this grid that has this form of communication, and that's how it's structured. That's how it stays what it is. Nothing has changed from that. Not the animals, none of it. The wildlife, the insects, none of it has changed except for humans. We're the ones who's disconnected when we get out there because of what we have littered our bodies with and our minds.
And it's one of those things where it's like it's where we polluted ourselves, and we also trapped ourselves And I had this crazy theory the other day. I said, I think that technology is starting to take over humans and we are starting to become technology. Because if you think about every text you send, you ever had your phone, like your phone is just like, it, like Siri would just pop up with like the app will just say something. Like I've had like my Google Voice, or I've had like Siri just say something out of random. I'm like, what is that? Or and it's just like, I believe that, like, I think like computers and stuff, they're reading our who we are and trying to become who we are, and we become who they are because we just become stagnant and stare and swipe, don't move, don't do too much, just look at a screen all day long. And it's like these people walking down the street on their phone, and it's like they're so stuck in they're just becoming just stagnant, like they're becoming just like robots. Like I believe that, like, they're like, we're going to become robots soon because we are losing our ability to think for ourselves, to do for ourselves, where we want somebody else to do something, but we're just going to be stuck in front of a screen like all day long, like just staring like this.
Yeah, it's very addictive. It's very addictive, especially when you are like on social media. I think social media is like Facebook and stuff. The way they incentivize people to be a content creator, I feel like it's a trap. You know, like they're they're paying you little coins for the amount of views you're getting and all of that. So now we're treating it like a job, but I don't think we're conscientious enough of how much time we're spending on it, because we're constantly thinking of what we can create and what we can put on here so that we can make more money. But no matter what your motive is for being on your phones all day, we're habitual beings, and our brains create patterns and programs. So if you're constantly on your phone and you're constantly staring at that blue light and you get those dings, you become Pavlov's dog. Like soon as you hear it, you're picking it up, you're looking at it. Like I even have to catch myself all the time. Like I will have grocery bags in my hand, and I'll have like a second where I've got my phone in my hand and all I have to do is put the phone in my purse, but I want it in my hand because I want to be able to grab my grocery bags and look at my phone while I'm walking upstairs. It's like, bro, put the phone in the damn purse. Like, what are you doing? And then I have to like check in with myself, like, come on. Like, it's highly addictive. And that's why I have to take these long stretches of time off of social media, because social media is the only thing that keeps me hooked to my phone. It's not necessarily my email or anything like that. It's that posting content, wanting to see the engagement on what you just posted, or if you commented on somebody else's stuff and you're anticipating a response. And it can be a lot if we don't check ourselves. And I feel like also it's a digital leash. Like someone is texting you, someone's calling you, like then you have like this I get this anxious feeling inside of me, like I need to respond to them right away because I don't want unless I don't know them. But like if I know somebody, there's just times where I'm not in the headspace where I'm prepared emotionally to just put energy into starting a new conversation with somebody, so I'll let it sit there for like a day or two. And we shouldn't feel bad for doing that, because we don't have just because it's just too much instant access.
Yeah,
That's why.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like even because I used to be like, I mean, sometimes I would roll over at like 1 or 2 in the morning. I'll be scrolling, and it's like 4, and I'm like, oh my god. So my recent thing that I just did is I was like, all right, if I'm gonna post, I record my content and I'll post, but I give myself like a time limit. I'm like, I'm gonna post. I'm gonna let everything go for like 20 minutes, and that's it. So I give myself like, I'm gonna do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, 20 minutes in the evening, unless I'm like on live or something like that. But besides that, but it's like now I'm 20 minutes in the morning. I'm working on controlling my time as far as how much I use, because I know I was bad at it. I was terrible. And it was like, man, it really does control you though, because you just want to see, you just want to be on there. And it's like the phone is like stuck to your hand. It's like glue. And I see with my nieces and nephews, it's like they're just like this, boom, boom, boom. And it's like, like even like we have dinner and stuff, I see I put the phone down. We having a conversation, we having human interaction right now. And it just sucks that we live in a society like that. And it's like, but it's like it keeps us away from nature though. That's the only thing about technology. Like technology keeps us away from nature. Now it can keep you with nature, but 9 times out of 10, it keeps you focused away from the sun, away from the earth, away from the moon, away from the grass outside. It makes you focus on what is not even real. Like it's not even real. Like what you're looking at, it's staged. Like even like I mean, like it's still staged. It's still you got to put a light up. You have to do this, and it's not. That's not even a real thing. If you look outside your window, you see a tree. That's real, and that's what it keeps us away from what is really real, and we become so engulfed with this fake.
Yeah, like a lot of times what motivates a lot of people to even get out in nature is that so that they can film it. like it's crazy because we live in a show and tell culture. I usually post a lot of like fruit content, juice content, raw foods, or even cooked vegan foods, whatever. I have not been doing that lately because it's important for me to get in the practice of just living this way without showing it. Mm-hmm. Because we have to normalize having integrity with our lifestyles. For a long time, I had to share it all because it's what motivated me to even keep being disciplined. Like, so I was constantly struggling with cravings and constantly struggling. So like for me, it was good to have the support. It was good to share. It motivated me to make a raw vegan meal because I'd be creative with how I made it. And it would be a good opportunity to create content and get attention for it. And, and there's nothing wrong with that because it was where I was at in my journey at the time. But now I feel like I've kind of got to this point where like, I don't really care about creating content, so to speak. Like, it's not my motivation right now. My motivation is my mental health, like keeping that nice and balanced and regulated, not being too overly stimulated with social media and the constant barrage of attention and like, so for me, it's like, I need to live like this. I need to maintain this lifestyle because it's what's best for my health without people looking. Like I know what I'm doing. And because it creates a different kind of confidence.
Yeah, it does. Like I said, it's the thing where it's like I like posting my stuff too, but it's like if I'm juicing, like because I juice every Sunday. I juice for 7 days a week every Sunday. If I'm juicing, I don't want to have to freaking pull out a stand, put the light out, make sure the angle is right. It's like I just want to juice. Like I zone in. I enjoy juicing. It's like now I got to put this up. I got to take this angle. I got to make sure I got to stop the camera, and it's just like 9 times out of 10, I'll do it sometimes, but it's just like I just want to live my life normal. Yeah. Like if you're in my area, you'll see me out at the farmer's market getting apples. You'll see me out living my life, living this fruit lifestyle. Like you'll see me in person and be like, okay, that's real. It's not like I'm not doing this for the camera. I'm doing this for my real health, for my real life, for my real spirituality. Like I do this for real. Like this is not for an audience. Like if social media fails today, I'm still going to be the same person tomorrow. Yeah. Like it's not going to stop me. I'm still going to eat fruit. And I'm still going to juice. I'm still going to do raw vegan stuff. Like I'm still going to live this life because it's beneficial to my spirit and my health. And it's like we have become even my friends. They'll I mean I understand it, but it's like they'll post stuff and it's like, man, like you don't got to put that up there. Like, you don't got. But it's like I can't knock them because that's the society we live in. Like it is what it is. It's like everybody has to show everything. And it's just like, you don't have to show everything. Like you can just show bits and pieces or something here and there. But it's like, you don't need to do that to be who you think you need to be. And that's what it is. Everybody's trying to be somebody but themselves. Like everybody wants to be like somebody. That's why I like this community the best. Cause you got Bobby, got Kev Ramon, you have Lisa, you have Chaz, you have everybody is their own person. Like nobody's not like I know Bobby has his way. I'm not going to be exactly like Bobby because Bobby's journey is not my journey. I'm not going to be exactly like Lachey because Lachey's journey is her journey. I'm not going to be like Chaz because Chaz's journey is her journey. So it's like we have to learn how to love ourselves and not worry about what other people think, because that's also social media is just you caring about what everybody else thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we have to get out of that mentality to be like, what do I think? Who am I? How does this align with me?
Yeah, it's hard for me on social media sometimes because I'm not an emotional person. I am very objective. And when I'm wrong, I'm willing to admit it and I'm willing to change my mind. I'm not a know-it-all. Like I don't think I know everything, but I am also like very informed. I love reading, I love information so that I can have like discernment and nuance and so that I can be prepared when someone counters a thought that I have that I've expressed. So it's hard for me on here because a lot of people are so emotionally attached to their beliefs and their belief systems that if they hear me say something that goes against it, they're instantly offended. They will not sit around to listen, to continue to listen, because they will automatically put you in a box. Like people probably think that I am a Trump supporter. I do not support Trump, but if there are policies in place that we're going to benefit from, especially us like in the health community. So if you're going to take fluoride out of the water, if you're going to stop poisoning a lot of the packaged foods, well, packaged products that go on shelves in the grocery store, which a lot of our children are consuming, these red dyes and these blue dyes and the MSG, the high fructose corn syrup. If all that stuff is going to come, if your policies are going to directly impact us being a healthier version of who we are today, and there's industries that's not going to benefit from this and they're pissed off and they're probably going to lobby against it. That's what we want. We have a government that's going to work for us collectively in our health. Like we're talking about how sick we are and how much we're being poisoned. Well, now we're about to not be poisoned. Why are you mad? Like you can't like just be objective for a second and be like, okay, I agree with that policy. You don't have to agree with the man. You don't have to like the man. It's not even the man that's doing that. That's somebody else, actually.
Yeah, people don't realize the president is just the face. The people behind him who runs it's the lobbyists, it's the party. It goes so deep that people don't even understand how deep it goes behind the president. It's way more than the president that runs this country.
Yeah, people too emotional. Like we gotta get out of our emotions. You know, this is about our lives here. It's a bigger picture. I don't like us victimizing ourselves so much. We gotta stop with that victimization because we're not victims. We're not. Like, I'm not a victim. Ain't nobody controlling me. When C-19 came around in 2020 and they was telling everybody they needed to do this or they was gonna, I didn't care. I was still going into grocery stores without a mask on. I was like, you're not poking me with nothing. Like, we can speak up for ourselves.
Yeah, you can say no. And you look how that turned out. Everybody that said no was happy. They're like, I'm glad, because the issues that came along with that. And it was like, it was crazy. And it was and actually people don't realize this, anybody that got hit with COVID, a lot of them had pre-existing issues anyway.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had already heavy, like probably just bad health already going on anyway. So whatever they put in the air, you know what I'm saying? Because we know it was a breakout. It was I think they were testing a virus and it broke out, because the government does it. They test virus all the time. Like this is nothing new. It just happened to leak. And that's what happened. And then so it just broke down people that was already sick. I mean, pretty much, you know. So you never heard too many people like that were super healthy that said they got COVID and got sick and died. It was somebody that was smoking, somebody that was eating terrible, and that's the facts. You can go look those up. And so it's and what's sad that we got to live in life where you got to, you know, deal with diseases broken out. But yeah, you're right though. But you're right. Nobody can make you do what you don't want to do. Now you got to be willing to stand on that. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't want to stand on what they truly feel. like they want to hide or die. I mean they want to hide behind something and be like kind of throw the rock and hide the hand and be like, yeah, you can't do that. You have to stand up for what you believe in, regardless. If you truly feel it's right, you gotta be willing to go all the way for what you believe in.
Everybody want to stand on business when it comes to, you know, some old drama, you know, with somebody that they know personally. They willing to put their life on the line. They willing to fight. They willing to shoot. They willing to kill. They willing to do all of this to stand on business. So, because they're in their ego, when it comes to people they know in real life, then you got a stranger who you don't know, Dr. Fauci, on screen. You don't know this man from a hole in the wall. You just automatically trust him with your life because he got a label, you know, like because he's in some position of authority, despite the amount of corruption that he's been involved in all of these years while he was in government. Like, it's just our capacity to critically think, to advocate for ourselves. And that's why I am so against big government. And that's why it doesn't scare me when they talk about decreasing the size of government, defunding certain government programs or organizations or whatever, because we need that. We need that. The bigger the government, the more control they have over your life. The smaller the government, the more autonomy we have to make decisions for ourselves. No matter what, we always have autonomy to make decisions for ourselves. We have God-given rights, you know, and the thing is that government has overreached and gotten so big with their control, and then they do it through intimidation and coercion because they've got armies, they have police forces, they have all of these things to keep us in check and to keep us intimidated when they create these literally unconstitutional laws.
They're bullies. I mean, they're bullies. Like I said, it's gangland. They're gangs. Like everybody, like government is a gang. Like that's what they are. Like politics is a gang, and the government is the biggest gang of them all.
But there's so much more of us than them, and we have to remember that that same army has our family members and friends inside of it.
That's where we have to get off the segregation. We have to realize how they keep us, because they keep us down by segregating us and by splitting us up. Because they know that if we all united, they'd be a wrap. Like if every black, white, Asian person, Middle Eastern, Indian person in America said, "Hey, we're gonna unite, we're gonna come together, and we're not gonna take this. We're gonna have these laws. If not, we're gonna run them out the office." Like we could do that. We got enough people with enough guns, enough power, enough intelligence to all come together and be like, "We're gonna take them out. We're not gonna do that no more. We're gonna start our own thing." But nobody is willing to. No, we're so brainwashed that we don't know that we can do that, because we're so segregated and we're so what you call it, we are distracted. Like I said, so we're separated and distracted, and that's how you do it. It's crazy. I look at it like how easy it is to control. If you look at a rapper, I was looking at a rapper show, and it was Usher show, and I'm like, this man is one man, and he has a stage full of 100,000 people. If he says be quiet, they'll be quiet. If he says jump, they'll jump. If he takes his shirt off, they're gonna scream. If he says, everything, he controls with words, with frequencies. That just shocked me. I was like, man, it's really like if you have enough power and enough image, you can control anything you want to control.
Yeah. A lot of us don't really know true history because true history isn't taught in the public schools. And this makes me think about how a lot of people are kind of like in fear of the department, because they're saying that Trump wants to eliminate the Department of Education. And that would go with a lot of the funding involved, like with like Pell Grants and things of that sort. But the thing is that our tax dollars is funding an education system that tells us a fake version of history, right? So we have So going back to how they have us divided, because if we were united, they know that they would like literally have no chance to manipulate us the way that they do. So do you know whiteness didn't exist until the 1600s? Tim Wise talks about this, and he does a really good job at it. So whiteness was created by the government elites because white people and black people were being enslaved because all of them are on equal ground. They're all poor. And then you had the elite class who controlled everything, who had all the wealth, and they needed the poor people to do everything for them. And then they were starting to have these wars. And people were just like, why would we fight for you? Because everybody was the same. So they had to, like, I think, like this, he said, like in the 1600s, in order to get people to start doing what they needed them to do, like fight their wars, they had to start to create a different class of people to separate all the commoners. So that's when they started to incentivize. That's when they created whiteness and started incentivizing white people. And then that created a wedge and a division between black and white people. So racism did not always exist. It was literally just a move on a chessboard by the elite in order to make it to where they can stay into control of commoners.
Basically. And matter of fact, to piggyback off that, so in the 70s when the Black Panthers, what happened, guy named how was it, Eldridge Cleaver, Bobby Seale. So they had, so Black Panthers, Black Panthers were the reason why there's free lunch in schools to this day. Like they're the reason why that's happened. But
the WAKE program, all of that.
And then so what happens, they created something called the Rainbow Coalition, which that means all black, anybody, they weren't even fighting against color, they were fighting against economic status. So everybody that was like poor and like, well, poor now, they were poor, they all got together, every race, every creed. The government did not like that. So what they did was they separated and they told white people, they were like, well, you guys are poor, but you're better than them. And they implanted that and they put that in their head because what they were doing, they were gonna pull everybody together and have the resources together and have and expect more rights and expect better living conditions. But the government separated that. They was like, nah, y'all go over here. Y'all are better than them. Y'all are not rich, but y'all are way better than them. And they started to do that. And that's just a sad way of how they always try to separate and conquer. Divide and conquer, that's a real thing.
Yeah, but that's not what they're going to teach in their schools.
Oh, no, not at all.
And that's my thing. Like, why do you want to maintain a system that's going to continue to indoctrinate your children? Now they're adding all this other weird stuff in the schools. Now they're trying to push this transgenderism on children, putting more sexuality and stuff inside of these elementary kids.
Yeah. I used to the books. Yeah, I saw this video on TikTok where this guy is like he's reading to he's like in a like their state legislation office. He's reading and she's like, stop reading. He was like, no, this is what you guys have in my kid's library. And it's like a sexual book with like, I think like some homosexual stuff going on. And he was like, this is my child's school. And he was like, this is the book that is in that library. And they were trying to shut him up. But he was like, no, you guys allow this. And that's just the crazy part. It's wild.
Yeah, that's what people are fighting to maintain. Like everything that they're being told is bad is exactly what needs to happen. Like we can't be. The thing is it seems like for me, we've only devolved as a society, and it's because of the federal government being in control of every aspect of our lives. Like there is a government department for everything that has to do with how we live. The education system, the food, transportation, like we're supposed to be sovereign beings. We have to, driving is a privilege. We have to have a license. We got to do this. And it's just like, so that's why like, I really support people who like have the guts to be up in these courts talking about, I'm a traveler. Like I like I'm a sovereign being. I want to be. I gotta get that kind. I need to stand on that kind of business because I'm not there yet. Because we couldn't take in. And then the amount of taxes that's being taken out,
Yeah,
like the Harris presidency would have increased taxes even higher than they already are.
because it's like I make, you know, I pay tax throughout the year out of my paycheck, and it's like I still owe. Like, how does that make sense? Like y'all take this amount of money every paycheck, and I still owe you guys at the end of the year. That does not make sense because I don't see where I don't see that money's going. I don't see what you guys are fixing, you know. So it's like it's just so sad how like we're just bullied. Like the government's a bully, and they'll bully us, and they just want us to live their lifestyle. Because if they really want, they could do it like that and create a peaceful lifestyle. Like we could live like the Japanese live in Okinawa. You know what I'm saying? It's just peaceful and happy. But they don't want that. They like the confusion and the chaos. They like it. They enjoy it.
And we're so stressed here. You wonder why we're sick. It's not just the food. It's the lifestyle. It's the having to work 2 or 3 jobs in order to pay your rent. Now food is going up like crazy. Like, so my dad, sometimes I'll order stuff for him, like from Walmart, to have it delivered to his house. And he asked for a gallon of orange juice. Tell me why a gallon of Walmart great value orange juice was like $8.
What?
I'm like, what? That's the first time I really like stood inflation in the face and thought about. I'm like, yo, this is inflation in real time. This is crazy. Things are so expensive. Even the cartons of eggs are more expensive. Like I remember when a carton of egg would be like $2 or $3. Now that's like $7, $8. Like everything is like very expensive. Gas getting more expensive. Rent's getting more expensive. My utility bills more expensive. Food, like right now, I only bought grapes. Well, actually, I did get a juice and like a little carton of pineapple, but I got 6 bags of grapes today, and then I got a beet juice, and I got a little $3 carton of pineapple, and it came up to like $65 for like grapes, basically.
It's like you got to find the deals now, and it's like I go to the farmers market because I get like a box and a half. I get like a box and a half apples for like $75, and that's good. I'm like, man, I know back in the day it cost me like 25, but this is what it is. And my watermelon. I will say watermelon. I like watermelon season because watermelon, I can spend like $40 a week and live fine off of that. But it just sucks that you know that like they don't want you to be comfortable. They want you to go in there, spend money, spend your last dollar. That's why they put stuff. They put stuff for certain parts of the store. So you might walk by something. Oh, let me see what that is. And then they want you to spend it. They just want you to. It's almost like they want you to be in debt with everything, your soul, your life, your health. They just want you to owe like them. Like they want to control you, and they want you to owe them.
And then they lied to us about fruit, and they say how it's unsustainable to live off fruit. It's dangerous. It's got too much.
Everything. We all heard the same thing. Fruit high in sugar, It's high.
Yeah, like
I do all the time, and it's like my blood work. I'm 1,000%. I am 10 times better than you. And it's crazy how they taught us that though. They teach us that. And I remember like I used to have to calm myself down because I used to like, when I started following Doc Yaki and Bobby, people would come to the comments like, you can't live like that. I'm like, what you talking about? And then I tell them my story and they just be quiet. I'm like, I had MS, what you talking about? And they say, well, I said, no, I'm telling you what I've been through. Like you're going off your emotions. I'm going off of what's real.
Right.
And it's like they just lied to us, and people were like, and my mom sees it. She's like, man, he's not lying. Like, fruit has changed his life. Like, it's no joke. And it's like she might not be a fruitarian, but she does indulge in lifestyle. She drinks a juice every day and stuff like that. So it's like they lie to us, and then we believe those lies, and we take those lies in like they're the truth. And it's like they're not the truth.
Yeah, and the thing about fruit, right? So in the grocery store, I got 6 bags of fruit and it was expensive, but people don't realize that if it's the only thing you're going to eat, how much it actually yields as far as quality goes. Because when you're only eating fruit, you get hungry less. once you're a few days in, your body kind of adjusts to, it's like, okay, you giving me what we designed to eat. Okay, I
Yeah, like it's I'm on my Apple thing, right? Apples fill me up. Like I'm trying to eat 12 apples a day. I can only eat 6 right now. And
yeah, like we think we need all this stuff because we're bringing standard American diet culture into natural living. And the thing is that our bodies are designed to consume this stuff. So it absorbs it, and our bodies don't have to adapt to fruit. Our body is already designed to consume fruit, but it does have to go through this period of adjustment because of how we used to eat, because it had to adapt to a less natural way of eating. So now you're giving it what it needs. So now your body's just starting to kick into repair mode. Now it's starting to like clean, and now your cells are able to kind of really absorb and diffuse the fructose, and like our body's able to really charge up from it. And we don't need to eat a whole, maybe in the beginning you have to eat a whole bunch of fruit because you're so used to consuming large amounts of food. Plus mentally, we like to trick ourselves into believing we need so much because of how we used to eat. So it's also a mental thing you have to go through, so to speak, and you have to really understand what you're doing before you get into the lifestyle. Otherwise, you're going to start creating all these excuses to go back to addictive behavior, which is really just self-sabotage and addiction or whatever. But I can eat a bag of fruit. Like, so what I've been doing is intermittent fasting legitimately for like 20 to 23 hours. And then I'll just have a big fruit meal, like big grape meal, and I'll be satisfied. And if I'm hungry, I'll just have some water, maybe sip on some water, or just have some more grapes. And then I'm satiated, and then I'm good. And then I'm not really hungry until the following day, because like we're being fed on a cellular level. The goal isn't to coat the stomach. So it's actually cheaper to eat this way instead of filling your cart with all of this stuff, all of these empty calories.
Yeah, because before I like first got diagnosed, I was still eating bad. So I would DoorDash, I would probably spend like $200-300 a week. I said my maximum amount I spend now, and that's if I want to go get some extra stuff. Like I want to make like a extra raw vegan meal and a couple things, and like I'll spend like $125. And that's a maximum. That is, I have everything I need plus more, plus some, plus leftovers. And it's like, and it's not that this lifestyle is actually cheap. Now, if you overcomplicate it, anything can be cheap. You know what I'm saying? If you're like, I want to eat that meal today, you tripping now. You want to spend on that money, but we're simple. We're simple beings. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I can eat apples, for 3 days in a row. Now, if you want to switch it up, I can do berries for the next 3 days, but you don't have to have like apples, berries, and pears, and then I'm gonna make a pineapple juice and a blueberry juice, and I'm gonna get a mango. It's like, you don't have to do all that. Like relax. Like just take it simple. Like you don't have to do everything. Just relax. Be simple with it. And that's how I look at things. I just like being simple. So
yeah, I agree. Simplicity has been everything, and I'm still in like healing state. Like my body is still. I'll be on a health journey for the rest of my life, because I'm 37 years old and I've been eating wrong most of my life. I still have tons of toxicity and acids and things inside of me that needs to be removed. I still kind of go through cycles sometimes and don't eat the best. And, so it's just like, it's a journey. It's important to keep it simple for me. Like I'm adapting over time because I've done the raw vegan thing. It is expensive as hell to be like a raw vegan. Like when you're eating all those salads and you're getting all these different meals, and you're doing all of these big creative salads, and you're getting all these ingredients for sauces and dressings, and doing wraps, and like it's cool. Like I feel like it's cool. Like you can definitely do that, but when it's like, if I'm gonna do salads, I'm gonna keep them simple, and they're gonna be the same salads every day. you know, like just your base greens, your cucumbers, like just keeping it simple. Because number one, simplicity, your body responds best to simplicity anyways. Your body is going to utilize what it needs and get rid of the rest, you know, and we have to be intentional about what we consume and how we consume it. It's easy to fall into the fat trap, eating all these nuts and all these seeds, and, you know, because like we want to be full, you know, because we still have that standard American diet mindset where we want to fill our stomachs up because that's how we've adapted and that's how we've consumed most of our lives. So we think we need to eat until full so we can be grounded and lay down and go to sleep. But that's not really how we're light beings. So we have to start thinking more in terms of when we're eating food, we're eating it for fuel and nourishment. And it's about how it's going to charge our cells,
Like
not
I said,
our stomach.
if I
Our
eat,
stomachs are supposed to be empty, actually. They
if
should never be full.
that's how I look at it. If I eat, I can still go. Like I'm energetic. I can go work out. I can go ride a bike. I can go play with my nieces and nephews. Like I'm energized. I'm not going to bed. Like if I'm going to bed, I'm going to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. If anything makes me go to sleep, it's going to be an herb. You know, like it's going to put me down so I can go to sleep and get some rest. But anytime besides that, but if the food makes you sleepy, that's not a good sign. Like it should not make you drowsy. Like that's almost like a drug.
Mm-hmm. If your food makes you sleepy, it's not food. Like, period. Like it's really not food. If it dehydrates you, like if your mouth is dry after you ate something and you weren't dehydrated prior to eating that thing, it's not food. Because we're supposed to stay hydrated. You know, we are supposed to stay hydrated. Hydration is like symbolic to life, to flow. Like everything is about being in a flow state. Our blood is supposed to be in a flow state. Like everything needs to be moving in our bodies at all times. So if there's stuckness in the body, that's stagnation. That's slowing us down. That's what leads to dis-ease. Like we have to really always be thinking about eating what's hydrating. Hydration is really what we need to focus on. We eat so much dry stuff because it's comforting, because it's grounding, because it's addicting. And a lot of the things that we eat, like when we're eating cooked food, we're only eating it because we've put sugar in it, we've put salts inside of it. And these things are, you know, like rock salts you're crushing on top of your food so you can get it down. Like, but that stuff makes you feel dry afterwards. Like when I eat cooked food, even if it's a healthy cooked meal, like if it's got salt on it and I was eating nothing but fruit for 2 weeks and then I have a cooked meal, I'm hella dehydrated. Like my mouth gets so dry.
And that's what I realized. I realized that's having my blood pressure. I realized I was juicing and I started cooking foods, and I realized I was using salt. I thought I was okay, but I was like, no, my body, because I'm not fully healed yet. I'm like 80% there. And I'm like, I gotta stop. And I got off food for 2 days, and my blood pressure went down. Like boom. And I was just like, oh, I can't do cooked foods. I gotta go to this raw lifestyle. Well, I eat fruit, but you know what I'm saying? I like my meals. I like to make wraps and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm going to adapt this raw lifestyle, and I'm going fully raw, and I'm gonna be raw forever, as far as I know for now. You know, so
that's dope, and that's kind of where I'm at with it too. But for me, I've been through these cycles before where I've done like raw for an extended period of time, and then I'll have a little hit of drugs, and then you back down that rabbit. That's weird. All you need is a bite of rice, and it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's done. You like done. Like y'all know that's all I said. If I have some Caribbean food around me, like some rice and beans, I'm like, oh man,
it's a wrap. It's like I'm a vampire looking for blood. It's so addicting. So it's so important. But fasting, though.
Yeah, I interfast. I interfast from 12 to 6. I mean, I eat from 12 to 6. I interfast 18 hours throughout the day, but I'm in a different zone. I'm trying to put on weight, so I leave my window open because I can't eat. I cannot eat 12 hours an hour. I can't do that. So
I hear you.
Yeah, so I would throw it all up. But yeah, but I feel fasting is amazing, and I before I even got into this, before I got into even like maybe 15 years ago, I was going to a church, but me and my friend was like, "Hey, you want to fast?" And we didn't eat for 3 days. We didn't have any food, like any water. We didn't eat. We didn't have anything for 3 days. But we felt so spiritually connected that was like, that's when I knew that something special with fasting. I was like, giving up something for your body is amazing, and I felt great too. I wasn't tired or anything, but I was like, fasting though, fasting is where it's at.
It is like I've been fasting like consistently for the past like 3-4 days, and I've been doing these large windows. Today was the first day that I actually broke my fast, but I only broke it with some pineapple.
Yeah,
It was sooner than normal, but I've been doing like between 20 to 23-hour fasting over the past 3-4 days, and then eating this large fruit meal. And I did it because I got over just like the fever. I had like flu symptoms and all of that. And I broke all of those symptoms, but I still had this like annoying cough. But it's because I'm taking like mullein herbs and stuff to get this mucus that's trapped in my chest out. And the mullein is an expectorant. So it's like loosening it up and it's making me cough it up. And that's why I still have like a little cough. And it's just the herbs and everything doing its job. But I said, I need to fast because the fast is going to help just like speed up the healing process.
Speed it up. Yeah, I'm a fan of fasting. And like I say, and you do it for your own reasons. And I tell people, like, if you're gonna fast, understand why you're fasting. Understand, but just don't jump into it. Be like, I'm gonna stop eating meat, and be like, oh, why you stop eating meat for? Like, slow down. Like, because fasting is a disciplined thing, and it's like, and it takes time. Like, don't just jump into it and be like, I'm gonna fast. But like, understand why you're fasting. Understand what you're doing it for. And then, because I know people that jump in because it'll be detrimental, where they'll just quit and they'll backslide. Like, I can't do this anymore. So, yeah, I love fasting. Fasting is amazing. And people can fast from social media. People can fast from using the phone. People can fast from watching TV. Like, you have to fast from food only. There's many things in life. All fasting means abstaining from whatever you need to abstain from. Go ahead and do that. So I think a lot of people think it's just food only, but you could abstain from negative thoughts. And be like, hey, I'm fast from negative thoughts for this week. Every time I think something negative, I'm gonna put something positive and replace it. So people like fasting is amazing for just the whole body, mentally, spiritually, and physically.
Absolutely. And it's good for your pockets if we're talking about food.
Oh yeah.
You fast, you're gonna save a lot of money. I think fasting is like, for me, I'm pivoting to making fasting a lifestyle and getting my body to adapt to not always being in a consumption state, because I think the overconsumption that we have embraced and conditioned ourselves to normalize is not really normal or necessary for our bodies. In fact, I think the less we eat, the best, as long as when we are eating, we're eating something that is quality consumption, like quality fuel, something that our body is designed to consume. And it sucks having these conversations out in the open so boldly, because people in our community get it, but somebody who is unfamiliar will listen to this and be like, this is an eating disorder talk.
You're crazy. You don't understand nothing.
Like, what you mean? Like, and I get it, because like maybe 5-10 years ago, if I was listening to this conversation and hearing somebody say that they're only eating once a day, and when they do eat, it's only raw food. It's not like some big rice, beans, meat, and all this stuff. Like, everybody's got their own lifestyle. Like, if you're gonna, there are people who do one meal a day and they'll have like chicken and they're this and that. And I don't even think that's necessarily bad if they're starting off with like a clean structure. If your body's clean and you don't have any health issues and your gut is cleansed and you're eating one meal a day and you got some chicken on your plate, at least you're allowing a full like 23-hour cycle. Where
and the people in Japan, Okinawa, that's like one of the healthiest places on earth, and they eat fish there. and they eat rice and they eat that stuff, but you know, they have clean bodies though. Whatever they put in their body is going to be pure and it's going to be clean. That's why I'll never knock anybody for eating meat. Like I don't eat meat, but you know, hey, if you want to eat meat, that's fine. Like just make sure you're pure. Like I said, make sure you're pure. Like just make sure your body is pure. That's the only thing you have to do. And then, you know, like I said, I know that fruit is the most electrical, highest element that you can put in yourself. So I want to go towards that because I want to be the highest element that I can be.
Absolutely. If you're coming from a place of disease, though, fasting, I believe, is important. I think it's important to learn how to incorporate fasting if you have disease in your body, because ultimately it's just allowing your body to get back to health. It's like you're just allowing your body to
rejuvenate.
It's just allowing it. You know, you're not achieving health. You're just allowing health. Your body's going to do that naturally all on its own if you allow it to. So it's abstaining. Learning how to tell yourself no. It's starting to like really dig into your spirit and start operating from a higher place than like those lower energy centers, your lower chakra, from your stomach, from your sexual organs. You know, like we have to learn how to not make decisions based on that lower side of the body and start making decisions with our actual our head and tapping into our spirit to be the most strongest and highest version of ourselves to overcome those lower desires, because that's what's going to get you to where you want to go. Like there is no disease that cannot be healed if, number one, you believe you can heal yourself, if you commit yourself to that journey, and to just understand that you're only where you're at because you have started shoveling your own grave with your fork, basically. So all you have to do is, if what you did got you to where you're at, it's just going to be about not doing what you did to get you to where you want to be.
You got to reverse everything that you did and say, all right, I gotta get, so now I got to go backwards, and I gotta get this right, and make sure I can't do that anymore. As you said, you got to reverse your whole mindset. And that's the thing. That's why I do like the fact that Bobby's group has so much awareness though. Like even if it's only 25,000 people, that's still 25,000 people that probably all of us, you know, 10 years ago wouldn't even know each other, wouldn't even known about this lifestyle. Wouldn't have the connection. That's why I say I do like the internet for that reason, for us being able to come together and be able to see each other's lifestyle, be able to promote this lifestyle, promote our higher selves. So, but I do like Bobby's group for that. That is like the amazing thing about that. And it got to be people like you, get people like Chaz, get people like Kev Ramon, and there's so many different people you get to meet, Lisa Williams, and get to see people live on this high vibration and get to connect with people like that. And so it's that's one thing I do like about technology, is that it does bring people together, but it also does separate us. So it's just like one of the things we have to stop. It's like, I guess it's like eating. It's like we have to learn how to use it for its purpose. And that's how I look at it. As it's like everything, like I said, fruit is life. Like everything goes back to fruit. We have to use it for its purpose. Don't overindulge it and don't abuse it, you know?
Yeah, it is life. And it's just about helping to be a part of the reprogramming process to those who we reach. Like, even if they don't necessarily get it, it's about planting the seed of letting them know that fruit is a meal. You don't need this multi-course plate in order to feel like you're getting all of your nourishment, because like that's that food pyramid trap. That's that belief that we've got to overcomplicate nutrition and believe that we have to have a grain on the plate, we got to have a meat on the plate, we have to have a starch on the plate, you know, like we got to have like these 3-4 different types of things. We got to have different textures, different flavors, different food groups, a protein, a carb, a fat, it's just like we do too much. And then we wonder why even some of us who look healthy still have gut issues, still have diabetes. Like I'm in some health groups. Like I'm in a really big, popular Black fitness health group on Facebook. And you see the most beautifully sculpted Black women and men, their transformations from how big they were to where they start their fitness journey. And a lot of them, fitness has always been a lifestyle. They've pretty much almost always been healthy. They were always athletic. They just always prioritized. It's all different types of walks of life. But there are some of them that I've been watching over the years in the gym, consistent, showing their meals, like their baked chicken and their rice and their this and their that. And then all of a sudden they're randomly like, oh, I've been having this issue, going to the hospital, found out I'm pre-diabetic. And they're flabbergasted how that could possibly happen, because they're like, well, I eat healthy. I'm healthy. Only time I ever eat junk, I'll let myself have my favorite cookie once or twice a week. That's that moderation trap. When people think that everything in moderation is good, in reality, it's not, because you're microdosing on poisons, on toxicity. And you think it's okay because you're not doing it every single day, and because you work out, and because your belief that you eat really healthy otherwise, but you clearly don't, because that means your kidneys aren't filtering the way that they're supposed to. So that means that you're probably consuming too much protein. Like protein is like this it's like this, what's the word? Like overhyped, like it's not as important as they make it out to be. But all you see in these fitness groups is how many grams of protein you got to have in every meal. And it's just like,
I've seen people on there. I on people's, like, I go to people's comments like, where'd you get the protein from? Where'd you get the protein from? Sometimes I just respond back. I was like, how many times in your life do you go to the bathroom? They're like, I don't know. But like, don't ask me no stupid questions about where I get my protein from. I'm like, come on. It's like, it is so crazy, because it's like, you don't even know what protein is. And even Yaki broke, all protein is there's two different types of proteins. There's a simple complex amino acid and a complex amino acid. The simple complex amino acid comes from fruits, nature's basic structure.
mm-hmm.
Complex stuff comes from the bread, the chickens, the meats, the BS foods. Like, that's where the complex comes in. So we're supposed to be simple. Like you said before, we're supposed to be simple. Like, simple amino acids is perfect. That's fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, like stuff that's from the earth. And people don't even look into that to see like what protein really is. They just hear that all the time. You need protein. But what do you mean you need protein? Like, why do you need protein? Like, what is protein doing for your body, and what type of protein do you need?
I don't even respond to them.
Yeah.
I don't even got it in me anymore. I don't. You could go and like, why do you care about my protein intake anyways? Like, what I eat don't make you shit. So you just focus on your protein. You do what works for you. I don't care. Like, I don't even, honestly, that's why I don't even really share. I haven't been sharing. Like, I don't care to share. I just care to focus on maintaining my own journey. And everything is becoming so much more intimate to me. Like, fasting is intimate to me. Like, I can talk about it with you because we're having a conversation, but I don't get into telling people I'm fasting anymore. I think fasting is one of those things I am learning that needs to be done privately.
And that's really, and I totally agree with it, because that's me too. Like, there's some things that are like spiritually to me. So like, if I'm like, I get up every morning, I have a routine where I meditate, pray. I would never record myself doing that, because that is my time with the creator in the universe. Like, I'm not going to record I'm not going to be out in nature, like meditating, like where my connection is, you know what I'm saying? I don't want anything blocking that energy. I don't want any frequency stepping in their way. And I feel like we have to, like you said, we have to share that. But like you said, you have to have an intimate time. You have to block off some things. You have to block off some things and let people know that This is my time. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is me. Like, this is not for anybody else. This is not for no camera. And you have to have that. You have to have that interaction, that connection with the universe.
Facts. For me, I find that I have historically had more success whether I was doing a fruit fast or fruit feast rather, or any kind of juice fasting, whatever. Excuse me. I have more success doing it when I'm not sharing it. Like I'm stepping into this place in my life where everything is not for social media anymore. It's not for show. I don't care about increasing my following. Like I care about just increasing my integrity, increasing my relationship with myself, um, really working on my relationship with food, really strengthening my relationship with God, really trusting myself more. I feel like a lot of times when we're so immersed, like this community is so important for support and all of that. But sometimes it can be a lot because we're sharing to inspire a lot of people. But then again, you're attracting energy from a lot of naysayers. Like a lot of negative things come from that too. Like these people online are crazy.
Oh
Like
yeah,
if
yeah.
I had a kid and I wanted to feed my kid raw vegan or something, some stranger online would call social services on me, and then I'd be battling the state because I want to feed my kids real food. Like this how crazy these people are. Like there's some Karen, some lady who had somebody's pet squirrel euthanized because she said it was her right. Like there was like a out of these people are online are nuts. So like I just feel like when we're sharing online, we have to be mindful of what we're welcoming, even though we have good intentions, even though we're inspiring people. But when I was doing the watermelon fasting, like people reported me of having an eating disorder, like Facebook sending me notifications asking me if I am okay, if I need help, giving me a hotline, like, and stuff like that can compromise my page. And like, so it's just like, I'll share to a degree, but I just don't care enough. It's more important for me to have my peace of mind. And I'm already naturally a private person. I just feel like I'm a private person who wants to be private, but there's just something about my energy. No matter how private I try to be, I constantly attract a lot of people. So it's like me adjusting to the attention that I create or I attract or whatever. And like, I'm okay with that. I'm cool. Like, I love that me being who I am helps people want to be better versions of themselves, like want to eat healthier. Like that's why I was sharing it to begin with. Like I was dealing with endometriosis. Like I literally that condition almost killed me. I was bleeding I was losing so much blood from that condition that I don't even know how I survived as much blood that I lost on a day-to-day basis for years. Like my period would not turn off. So like, and there's women who experience that right now. Like they're going through that. So like, it's important for me to had shared that story and let people know, like, you do not have to live with endometriosis. You don't have to live with polycystic ovaries. You don't have to live with fibroids. You don't have to experience any of that, but you do have to overcome your addiction to the things that lead to it. And you have to start retraining your brain to start seeing fruit as food and just seeing raw foods in general, salads and lettuce and greens and whatever. Get into juice and drink water, start fasting, like really start decoupling yourself from gluttony culture, because that's the only thing that's going to help you get to where you need to go physically. And I know that that's one modality of healing. I'm getting more into like the mental part of it too, the meditation and healing your body with your mind, because there's different ways to heal. I don't believe there's a one size fit all. There's people who's healing their bodies doing whole food, plant-based, cooked. Like there is no one size fit all. I'm not a dogmatic person at all, But depending on what ailment you're battling, you don't know how deep you have to go. I don't know your level of toxicity. I don't know how severe your disease is, but you have to be open-minded to know that you're going to have to sacrifice your old life for your new one.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, it's one of the, matter of fact, there's a place I think of, I don't know if it was in Singapore or something like that, but they said they heal people with just by like sound bowls and frequencies. Like you go into like a temple and you stay there for, I think for like a week, and you kind of just lay out and relax, and they just heal you off of frequencies and sounds. Like you say, you just never know. Like you never know what your body's gonna adjust to. But like you say, you have to be willing to adjust. You have to be willing to open your mind, open your soul to that, and be willing to change. Like I said, there's no one way to heal somebody. Everybody's gonna be different. Everybody's gonna take it in differently. So and yeah, healing is a beautiful thing. You just have to be open to it. A lot of people don't want to be open to healing. They want to listen to the doctors because they program.
Yeah.
It's like we are such in the matrix right now, which is crazy. Like even like like I'm in the matrix because we have to be a part of the matrix in order to to survive. Like if you're on social media, if you have faith, if you work a job, you're in the matrix. It is what it is. Like we have to spot. Like nothing wrong with that. You just admit that, hey, I'm part of the matrix. But you just have to remember who you are in the matrix and remember how to control yourself in the matrix. That's the best advice I can give somebody. Like, hey, understand how to maneuver, understand what's coming against you, but you don't have to be of the matrix. You just be in the matrix. So
absolutely, that's what I'm gonna say. You can be in the world, you don't have to be of it.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to rise above the influence of everyday life here because it's hard. I mean, I live downtown in a downtown area. I'm surrounded by bars. I'm surrounded by restaurants. I smell food. There's a restaurant like literally on the lower level of my building, an Indian restaurant.
Yeah.
Which is some of my favorite food. Like I love curry, like just smelling the aroma of curry. Like I can't say I've never eaten down there before because I have. Like
I will say this. If I did like before when I was eating cooked food, I definitely like some Chana masala. And because Indians actually have the closest thing that I could eat to like natural food, like cooked food. I would rather go there than go to like a vegan place because I know it's just chickpeas, some coconut milk, and some and y'all make it vegan, like they'll make it vegan for me. So I was like, I like Indian food is pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm staying away from the fired food
crap. Oh yeah, definitely none of that
for a while because it's just it's like I'm learning, and with every slip up, there really truly is evolution. I don't believe in even slip ups. I just believe in learning lesson or learning lesson and learning lesson and learning lesson and learning lesson and learning lesson. Like we always like to correlate something that we ate that was suboptimal as messing up, as a slip up, as a relapse. No, it's just a learning lesson. It's a learning lesson. It's always going to be a learning lesson. It doesn't matter how long you stay in that cycle. You are learning something about yourself because eventually you are going to get out of that trap. And then you're going to realize how hard it was to get out of it. So you really do put way more of your spirit into resisting temptation, and it's just like the more we become more intentional about resisting temptation, our spirits, our soul gets stronger. And I think that's really what life is about, like evolving on that spiritual level where like there's really nothing that can break you. Like you've genuinely truly got to a place where you've made a decision, where you've evolved beyond that experience. And that's where we're all going to go. We're all infinite beings. Even if it's not in this life, it's going to be in the next one. So like we have to stop beating up on ourselves when it comes to this because it's just all a learning experience at the end of the day.
And I agree with you. Like I said, I've been on like I haven't had meat in probably 11 months, and I probably say I haven't wanted meat in like 4 months. Like I mean, I never wanted it, but like now the smell of it, I don't even like. I I'm above that now, where it's like I just don't want it. Like I'm good. Like it doesn't bother me. Doesn't smell good to me. And like I said, you gotta keep on taking that journey until you get to that place where you start to rise above everything. You start to hold yourself accountable. And then the more you start to step into that light, the better you're gonna shine. It's gonna be easier for you. A lot of people get worried, like, oh man, I'm like, it's okay in the beginning. Like, no, it's okay anytime, as long as you keep on getting back on the plan. Like, even if you do mess up, like let's say you do, like let's say tomorrow you go to Burger King, you have 3 Whoppers. But if you're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna eat fruit after that. That's fine. Like, do that, but just don't stop. That's why I said it's a journey. Like, just don't stop the journey. Like,
yeah. People gotta realize there's no such thing as good or bad. I don't believe in good or bad anymore, but there is cause and effect. So don't label your action as good and don't label it as bad. Just label it as an experience, and then that was cause, and then there was effect.
Yep.
So you just learn from the effect of what caused the effect, and don't label it, because once we start labeling something, then there's judgment, and then we fall into the judgment trap, and that's how we end up staying in the cycles, because we start judging ourselves, and then the judgment leads to repeating the same thing, because then we start identifying ourselves. We start identifying ourselves with the action. So we think that we are bad because we ate some chickpeas when we were supposed to be doing all fruit. Like, I just don't believe in good or bad anymore. I just don't. I believe in experiences, and I believe in the level of the consequence of what you did determines the polarity of the action that you took. It's just all polarity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't believe in good or bad. I just don't.
No, that's definitely good. That's an interesting view. I kind of like that. Yeah, so it's just cause and effect. It's just action and reaction. So
yeah, ultimately, like, good and bad is subjective, right? Like, somebody could kill someone's family member, and that person that was killed could have been an innocent child who took a random bullet, and then that person's parent went and killed that person that killed their kid, and that would be considered good, even though what they did was technically a cardinal sin, which was to kill.
yeah.
And it was wrath, right? Instead of allowing natural consequences or whatever that's supposed to come. So I would say what they did was good, because you killed that child. But at the same time, somebody else would say it was bad. Like, you don't have a right. You're not judge, jury, and executioner. And this, like, so I just feel like that's just me.
Yeah, there is no real right or wrong. It's just, like I said, cause and effect. That does make sense. So, and that's a good. That's how they should label it. They should, like, there's no right or wrong. It's just cause and effect. It's what you do. You're gonna have an outcome to it.
Yeah.
And that's the real thing. It's people that is real. I like that. Yeah, because a lot of people don't think like that. I like that. That's pretty good, because we're all subject to, that's wrong, but there's no right side of the track. It's either you're on this side of the track, this happens. You're on this side of the track, or this happens. Like, either or. So
yeah, some people have different levels of toxicity. Like, you could eat something right now and your body is so clean that you might not really be affected by it like that. Like, your body's clean enough to filter it out. If I eat it, it's gonna create all this mucus in my body. Like, I'm gonna it'll trigger a full flu if I eat it, But so what's good for you could be bad for me. It's subjective. So I don't get caught up into the moral. I mean, definitely there's evil in this world. I'm not going to deny evil. I'm not denying evil. Trust me. This is not a hall pass for straight up evil. But at the same time, when it comes to these, like, trivializing things like our health journeys and all of that, it's like, especially when there's knowledge backing a lot of the school of thought, like, if you're eating a bag of Doritos and you read the ingredients before you put it in your mouth, like that bag of Doritos ain't bad no more because you was well aware of what was inside, knew it wasn't good for you, and you still made the conscious choice to put it in your mouth and in your body any damn way. Like, so they made bad. Like, you made a decision and now there's supposed to be a consequence for that choice that you made, and that's that. You know, like, it ain't bad. It's bad if you picked up the bag of chips and you didn't know what was inside of it wasn't good for you, and now fool me once, shame on you. But once you are aware of what you're doing, is it really bad or is it a choice?
Right.
Like,
And that's society. That's you should write that for society, because that's real. Because it's like, we all know it's bad. We all know it's right or wrong. And if we choose to do wrong, then we're choosing to do wrong. Like, that's the thing. And that's a good way. Like, say, man, like, if we know what we're not doing is right, like, you got to stop, or you just gonna keep on doing wrong. And that just is what it is. You want to choose to do bad, you just choose to do bad. So, I mean, like, taking on small sense, like somebody commits a crime, somebody commits a crime, they know what the action, like, the results are going to be. Like, if I'm in the lifestyle of drugs and guns, I know, like, I do this every day. I can either go to jail, I can get locked up, or I can get killed, and I still do it every day. So it's like, I know what my cause is, and I know what my effect's going to be too. So
yeah, we all go in there knowing exactly what to expect when we do something. It's just something that we haven't really learned from yet. It's just like we need to keep taking a beating over and over and over until we get to a point where we just spiritually can't even do it anymore.
Oh yeah, I did want to talk about something before I get up out of here. Before we got to end this real quick, I want to talk about the single mentality for society. Everybody's happy being single. Like, everybody's like, man, I'm happy being single. I'm like, damn, are we going, like, we're not gonna create no families or nothing no more? Is it like a thing? Because I'm happy being single, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm just like, dang, like, we don't want families no more. Like our parents, like, I think our parents might have been like the last generation, but like before them, my grandparents, they grew up, they were coded, they were groomed to have a family. Like, it was a thing, like, woman gets a man, they code a family. But I don't know. I don't even know to think about, like, relationships in society no more.
See, like, I'm happy being single right now. I can't even hold you. But that doesn't mean I don't want, like, I want to be in a relationship eventually. But right now, in this season of my life, I'm grateful that I am not in a relationship, because there's just so, like, I'm on a health journey right now. I just feel like there's a little bit more time I want to have with myself, a little bit more investment that I want to put into myself. There's a couple more things I want to work on before I open myself up to somebody else. But I mean, with that being said, like, I haven't, like, completely cut myself off from it. It's just I haven't been going out of my way for it. So if I vibe with somebody, like, the energy, there's like a little energetic match. Like, I might be bored one day and entertain it. It was like, all right, well, whatever. Like, let's see where this go. But then, like, very quickly, I'll find out that it's just not an energetic match, and it's hard dating with our lifestyle too. Like, I feel like we almost are gonna have to find somebody who doesn't even live in the state that we live in. Like, you have to be open to relocating. Like, you've got to be open to, like because what are the odds of you finding someone who is gonna, like, be plant-based and doesn't drink alcohol and, like, does just, like, doesn't partake in a lot of things that, and I'm not even against dating someone who's a non-drinker but has a drink maybe once or twice a year. Like, I'm not judging somebody who's not an alcoholic, but maybe on New Year's Eve they'll have a glass of champagne. Like, I'm not going to judge that. But I cannot be with someone who's a social drinker, and they're always out socially. And because I come from a background of alcoholism, so if that's who you're spending your life with, I feel like it's only a matter of time where there's going to be that one day where I'm going to be like, you know what? Like, I haven't drank in a few years. Like, I can control myself. I just feel like you have to be an energetic match for who you're going to date. And it's kind of hard to find people who don't drink, for number one. And like, there were like guys that like I've entertained and allowed myself to talk to. But at the same time, kind of knowing that I don't know if this is gonna work anyways, but just like being open minded and bored. And, and then I'll listen to him. They'll be like, oh, I went to the bar or something like that. And then there's something inside of me that's just like, that's the third time you said bar in the 2 weeks that I was, we've been talking. And like, see, for me, it's like you learn real fast that even though they're good people, like, generally speaking, like, like carry themselves well, go to the gym, like, they're not a bad person. They're not bad looking. They don't look sloppy. They don't live sloppy. You can vibe with them on other things. But I feel like that's like core stuff, like there's just certain things you can't compromise on. And it's easy to allow loneliness to get you in your head about accepting certain things that you kind of set as a standard of something that you don't want in a partner. It's easy to start compromising on your standards when you're craving companionship and all of that. And I don't want to fall into that, which is why I feel like if I even felt like that for a second, I was willing to give somebody like that a chance. I got more work on myself to do because I still got to work on my boundaries. And like, so it's like a learning experience being single for as long as I've been, because I'm like historically, I've been a serial monogamous. I was never not in a relationship.
Yeah, you like, yeah. I said I was in a relationship with 3 different people for 10 years. It was the same toxicity, just a different person. Same issue, different person. Same issue, different person. I was just like, I had to take a break. Like, MS got me up out of Florida, got me out of my way, and was like, you need to get up out of there, and then you need to work on yourself. And I definitely understand it. You got to work on yourself. And it's just crazy. I said, man, everybody says the same thing. Maybe we all in the same boat. Because everybody's like, I was working on myself right now. Even Bobby was like, I'm gonna wait till I'm like 45, wait my little man grow up. And it was like, but it's like, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, But I was just like, it's just crazy how society be like, not even people in this lifestyle, outside lifestyle, be like, oh, man, I just want to be single. I don't want to be with.
It's peaceful because like a lot of us like are traumatized from some of our relationships. Like
happened. It's like, it was sucks. Is like, we're all good people, right? But we've all been so messed up that we cannot get together. You know what I'm saying? Because we've all been so messed up. We're like, I don't want to go down that road no more.
Yeah,
I don't know nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody right now. I like doing my own thing. I don't want to be questioned about nothing. It's like, I don't feel like growing with nobody right now.
Yeah, being single for too long and like doing it well, like taking care of yourself, like building yourself up, getting healthier, getting stronger, getting smarter, getting finer. Because that's my goal. I'm about to be fine now. I'm going to the gym. I'm about to clean my body. My electromagnetic aura is about to be on 10. Like, I'm gonna be like Jesus in this bitch. And then it's just like, no, because like that's like we're working on ourselves. So we trying to be the highest version of ourselves. And so it's like it feels good being on that journey. And I feel like it's so much easier being single doing it unless you literally find a person who's on that same path as you.
Yeah, because you got like mine, like somebody like spirited for real. Like, you guys got to come together. It has to make sense. And I think we've been in so many past relationships. They didn't make sense, but we tried to make them make sense. But they were really terrible for us. And like now we're just like, this makes sense. I'm peaceful. I don't feel like going through that again. Because a lot of our past messages, like, man, I don't feel like starting that over again. I'm good. Like, I'm peaceful. I got a community. I got friends. I got family. Like, I'm gonna let it relax for now. But
It'd be slim pickings too, because like the ones who do exist, they're either taken already or like, there's plenty of women after them too. Like the competition, it's hard. It's really hard. Like being on this path, we have to find creative ways. I think it is important in that sense to really start to create community. I think the next step is to get offline and really start being more intentional about creating spaces for us. You know how like Yaki will have his, like he'll go on tour and like maybe Bobby and all of us, we can get together, put money together and create like some sort of convention where we've got speakers and like a fruitarian raw vegan convention. Or I know Texas, they just had like the fruit festival. Like we have to, I think, be more intentional about getting into these spaces, because that's who you're going to start meeting people like that. Like you may find your wife or your husband at that event. And these are people that's on that frequency, who's been practicing the lifestyle for quite some time, and whose intention is to be there, even if they're not fully there yet, And it's just like, I don't think we need to be perfect in order to get into a relationship, but we do have to find somebody with the same mission as us so that we can, kind of be on that. But right now, I am happy being single, and I honestly, I don't want children, and I'm kind of jaded by this world. Like I'm jaded. It's going to take a really good man to convince me to have some kids.
Yeah, you never know. You never know you never know what the universe has in store for you. So, that's a true statement, because you 10 years ago you didn't see yourself here.
Yeah, I didn't.
You know, you're gonna see yourself 5 years from now. So right now you don't want, because like I don't know if I want children yet, because I don't have kids. And I don't know if I want kids, because I got 13 nieces and nephews, and I got 5 god kids, and I'm like I'm close with all of them. So I'm like, if I never have kids, I'm okay, and my last name will live on through one of my nephews. So I'm like, I'm fine with that. But if I do have a kid, I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Like I'm fine with that too. So I'm not in a rush for that. But yeah, it's a crazy world to bring a child into. So it's going to be on how you want to raise them, where you want to raise them, how you want to do things, how you want them to grow. Because if it was up to me, I would go to a jungle in Panama and raise my kid, like off land, off grid, and go live out there. And he ain't gonna see internet in his life. Or she, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they ain't gonna see no type of internet, no nothing. They gonna learn. All they gonna see is the ocean, the land, and fresh foods. Like that's whole life is gonna be like that.
Supposed to be Georgia the jungle, and this.
Yep. Eat his chest and everything.
Like, okay, Tarzan.
Yep. So yeah, I had to do something like that. So yeah, I agree. But yeah, I was just like, it's crazy, but it's just to see people. Because I have friends that are married. Now I will say that like marriage is not a bad thing. All my friends are married and happily married, and been married for a while. All their weddings are best men and everything. So I will say that there's nothing wrong with if people find the right people. And I will say all my friends have, like, because everybody has this thing, like people get divorced. And like I said, I've been divorced. I said, like, I was married for 3 years. Jumping too fast. It was what it was. And I got out real quick. But majority, like my friends, they've been married for a long time. And like we broke stereotypes, period. Not even with marriage, with just being black males. Because there's there's like 10 of us. All of us grew up with our dads, like not been in the same household, but all of us had our dads in our lives. All of us went to college. All of us make good money. And like none of us been locked up. So I'm like, where did these stereotypes come from? Like where they talk about the black male? Because if you look at my circle, it's like we debunk all of that in like 2 seconds. And so yeah, I don't know where I was going off track.
A lot of those stereotypes are BS, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't even believe that Black people only make up 13% of the country. How we've been making up 13% of the country for a long ass time. You telling me that number ain't changed?
Columbus said that when he got off the boat, so it ain't.
Boy, Bob. And we wasn't even on no boat. We was here all goddamn.
Yeah, we was already here. So it's crazy, but nah, it's not, because if you go to certain places, like if you go to New York, if you go to certain areas, you'll see a lot of Black people. Like that's more than 13% right there. So like, what are you talking about? So I just ignore it. It is what it is. But
Yeah, but we do have to start changing our mindset when it comes to relationships. Like I really do think that we should get together and try to put together an event like where people can buy tickets, get on a plane, meet each other all at one place, have speakers and have panels where we can talk about relationships and single and because
yeah,
like we have to be the thought leaders. We have to have these discussions and we got to have mindful discussion around this, but something that's going to be progressive. Like, okay, so what is the solution? Like, how are we going to leave out of here different, like with a different mindset of um, not wanting to, so many single people not wanting to be in relationships because that is bad for population, like, and that is a part of the agenda at the end of the day. Like if you believe that there is a depopulation agenda, it's probably a part of their plan to get us to not want kids because they want lesser people on the planet because less people easier to control, and all of that. I get it, but I mean, that's one agenda I don't mind being subject to, honestly, because like it's my personality. I just don't see myself as a mother. I just don't, and it's my biggest to be a single mother. So like if I have a child, it's gonna be with a man that I have a solid connection with. Like it's gotta be a solid connection. It's gotta be almost one of those things where it's unwavering. Like I just know I can trust this man. Like I know I
yeah,
can trust him with my life. I know he's a good father or is going to be. Like I know I would never have anything to worry about our children. And it's just like you have to find a man of integrity because I don't want kids. If a man get me so in love with him that I want a family with him and then he switch up, I would probably kill that motherfucker.
straight Tubi movie right there. Yeah, nah, yeah, I mean that is crazy because you put all that energy out there and he just like disrespects it like that, which is which is unfortunate. Yeah, that would definitely suck. But yeah, I would say that too. If I find a woman that if I find the person I'm gonna be with is gonna be a lifetime partner, like a very lifetime partner, so soulful, spiritually, mentally, where it's just we build something and we know like that we're like I'm not a fan of like marriage because that's a money making controlling thing. But I believe in like lifetime unions and stuff like that. You can create something like that and have an understanding with somebody. Like, but a ring doesn't make anything. Like people cheat all the time in rings. People get divorced in rings. Rings are just money
Yeah.
that you have on, and you got to go to the courthouse to register your name, and somebody's gonna get some money if their ring comes off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I wouldn't mind having a lifetime partner. I could do a lifetime partner. Like that is that sounds good. But no, whatever happens, happens though. But like I said, but but I was thinking what you were saying about the maybe we could do something like a Valentine's Day where we all cook like raw vegan fruits and have like a raw like a fruitarian like Valentine's Day like I said like expo or something where we have guest speakers come in and stuff like that, and then talk about relationships and society and how families should be built and how we can pass the thought process on to the next generation. That'd be nice.
That'd be cute. Yeah. I would get experts in there. Yeah. That would be dope. I mean, I think relationships are important. Relationships do make people happier. Like if they're good relationships, like
Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
it's good for your health, like really good relationships. People have really good health in those relationships. Their mental health is good. Love is important for physical health.
Yeah,
Like
it is. It is.
you can be in a good relationship and because people you can die from a heartbreak. Like they literally have heart what is it broken heart syndrome, like where you can deal with grief and you suffer from grief for so long that your heart like your arteries and stuff like will respond to the amount of cortisol and different chemicals. I actually have a book on it written by a doctor. um and it's crazy how much our emotions impact our physical health. So when you're in love, you can heal your body with love, because with the hormones, the happy hormones that are being produced with just being in a fulfilling relationship with a person that makes your life easier, that, just makes you a happier person, or whatever the case. I think that's kind of unhealthy to a degree. Like, don't go in a relationship and you're only healthy because that person is in your life. Like, you need to have already started on solid ground.
Yeah, you need. I think like people coming together, you need to be healthy and they need to be healthy, and y'all come together and you got to kind of like raise each other's vibration and frequencies even more. But you should never, like you say, I agree, you should never depend on nobody for your happiness.
Absolutely not. Because then when they're not in your life anymore, then now, like, I've seen instances where when a person decided to no longer be with a person, that person had took their own life, or like, it's extreme. You should never put that kind of pressure on another human being, for number one. And then, like, I couldn't imagine like doing that and then leaving a burden of guilt on the person because they decided that they didn't want, like, that's just unstable. And so it is important. That's why it's important to be single for extended periods of time, to work on yourself, because you're working on your emotional health. You're working on, when you are in a relationship, you have a secure attachment to that person versus like this anxious attachment style, or these just like these attachment styles that are just like very unstable. And then now when that person is no longer in your life, it completely affects your mental health. Like, you don't know how to have a good day, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you can't, like, it's, you got to have a secure attachment, but that only comes with having love for yourself before you even enter the relationship.
And I will say that I've learned, like being by myself, that you learn how you want to treat the person even better next time. Like you kind of go back, you remember all your mistakes that you made, and then you start to love yourself so much. But all right, the person I'm going to love, I'm going to treat them like this now. Like I'm gonna do this for this person. I'm gonna be this for this person. And you start to formulate, you become a better person. And that time by yourself will make you grow into the person that you need to be for that person. I will say that time by yourself does help you grow into a better person. And then if you really analyze it and you're like, okay, now I'm going to do this for my next person. I want this person to feel like this when I'm with them.
Mm-hmm. It makes you more discerning too, though. Like, it makes it so much easier for you to not be in a relationship with a person who's not going to treat you as good as you're going to treat them. Yep. You can always tell when a person isn't happy with themselves based on how they treat you. Like, so if they have insecurities about themselves, things that they haven't personally worked on, they're going to try to disparage you and say little things to you to make you feel bad about yourself. Because some people are like that. If they have insecurities around their finances, they're going to try to find something about you that makes them feel insecure about themselves. And they're going to try to make you feel insecure about that thing. Because hurt people. And a lot of times insecure people will try to break down a person that has a lot of light, or like, they feel insecure in your presence because there's something about you that makes them self-reflect that they know they kind of lack on, and they don't like how it feels when they're around you. So now you annoy them by default because you make them feel bad about themselves just for existing and having your stuff together and being happy and just being secure in who you are. And so if you're with the wrong person, like, it's really fast for me to pick up on red flags, because I've done a lot of work, inner work. Like, I love myself to a degree to where I instantly can tell that somebody is trying, like, it don't even make me feel bad if they say something to me. It's just like, yeah, okay. And I just, like, I already instantly know I'm not talking to them again. Like, that's just easy to just, like, that's done. Like, I'll ghost you. Like, I don't even need to tell you why. Because like, if you have that much, you have that, what do they say? You have the balls to say what you just said to me. I don't really owe you the courtesy of explaining to you why I'm literally not even going to speak to you anymore. Like, because I have enough self-respect and I love myself enough to not allow myself to be mistreated or just spoken to any kind of way for the sake of companionship. Like, I will never be in a dysfunctional relationship ever again in my life. I don't care if I can be single for 10 years, if that meant that every dude that I did try to talk to, just, I felt like there would be some level of mistreatment to be in that relationship, I'd rather be single. And that's our plight. That's why we'd rather be single, because we know our worth. If you know your worth, your phone gonna be dry. Like, you ain't gonna really talk to nobody. You're gonna try to talk to people. It isn't gonna last long at all. Like,
yeah, your value. Yeah, you're right. You know your value. You know, and that's one thing we try to. I know I did in my last relationship. I tried to stay in there, and I didn't value myself, but that person didn't value me either. So I thought it was normal. But if I would add value for myself, respect for myself, I would just got out of there ASAP. Right? Like, this is not for me. And I've done it. We've all done it. We've all stuck in places where we're not supposed to be at. And it's just how, like you said, that's why it is easier to be by ourselves, because it's like, I don't want to go through no more BS. Like, I just don't want to. And I'm at peace right now. So it's like, I'll look and I'm fine with it, but not right now. Like, I'm enjoying my peace. I'm enjoying my happiness. I'm enjoying my, maybe Bobby Smith, we have a retreat one day, like a fruitarian retreat where all the fruitarians get together,
No, for real. Like, that is something me and him was actually talking about. I think that's something we're actively trying to really put together. So there's things we have to get the community together. Like, we
gotta meet up with people and see.
We gotta have a weekend together. I don't even care. It doesn't even have to be the biggest and grandest thing. Like, we could find the cheapest city in the damn country and find an Airbnb, a big one.
Yeah, let's do
it. Get us all under the same roof. Go to the local grocery store. Just do a huge, massive food haul, and we could have raw vegan dishes. We can have fruit, whatever. It could even be cooked vegan meals, depending on it doesn't matter. It was just dope to just get everybody under the same roof, all of like mind, and just vibe out with each other and do what we do here, just like in a retreat. Yeah.
That'd be hard. That'd be cool. Nice retreat. Like I said, that'd be cool. Let me know what you guys come up with that. Well, I'm pretty sure that's gonna come out. So
all right. So I guess we should just wrap this up. It's 222.
Oh yeah, time to go. Lucky numbers.
It's about to be 222. There we go. So let's go. All right, y'all. Thank you. I mean, there's a couple of people in the chat. Don Burnham. I hope I'm saying your name right. Keely was in here for a little bit. I think we scared some people out in the beginning when we were talking about politics.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Bobby popped in for a little second. So, but yeah, this is dope. We have to do it again, of course. Make this a little segment. But yeah, have a good night. And thank you everybody who tuned in, and everybody who catches the replay. And I will actually be with Dr. Toomey Johnson Saturday morning. She's interviewing me on her platform, and we're actually talking about community. We're talking about the importance of having community while living this lifestyle, and how the online community has impacted us, how it impacts our journey and keeps us on track. So I'll be with her Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on her platform, on her YouTube channel. And I think I'll also be broadcasting live from mine as well. And then Juice Champs, we have a episode coming up this Sunday at 8 p.m. with Bobby Smith. And we're going to be, I don't even want to announce who we're going to be interviewing with just in case it doesn't work out for whatever reason. But we do have a really special guest and it's going to be dope. You guys would really enjoy that show. So make sure y'all clear your calendar for 8 p.m. on Sunday. And that's it. I'm out. Love you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourselves and do all the good things. Bye.